Honda NSX. By the late 1980s, Lamborghini believed one thing was simply unavoidable. If you wanted a mid-engine supercar, you had to accept the compromises that came with it. Heavy clutches, terrible visibility, hot cabins, constant maintenance. That was just part of the experience. Honda completely disagreed. The company spent 6 years building a supercar with one goal: prove that extraordinary performance didn't have to come with extraordinary inconvenience. To make sure it got the formula right, Honda asked Pininfarina, the same Italian design house that had worked with Ferrari, to help shape the car. Then it asked Ayrton Senna to help perfect it. After testing an early prototype at Suzuka, Senna told Honda the chassis was too soft. The engineers stiffened the entire structure before the car ever reached production. When the NSX arrived in 1990, it delivered supercar performance, cost significantly less than many of its European rivals, and could be driven every single day without drama. In one landmark comparison test, journalists chose it over the Ferrari 348, the Porsche 911 Carrera 4, the Lotus Esprit Turbo, and the Chevrolet Corvette ZR1. But the real shock wasn't the result of the test. It was what the NSX exposed. For the first time, buyers realized the compromises they had accepted from exotic brands like Lamborghini weren't inevitable. They were simply problems that someone else had finally solved. Nissan GT-R R35. Lamborghini had spent decades proving that building a great supercar meant making it lighter, louder, and more expensive. Then Nissan arrived with a completely different idea. The GT-R wasn't built to impress people at a car show. It was built to destroy lap times. When it launched in 2007, Nissan claimed a Nürburgring lap of 7 minutes and 38 seconds, placing the GT-R alongside supercars that cost 3 or 4 times as much. Many people didn't believe it. Porsche publicly questioned the result and sent engineers to investigate. Eventually, they accepted the numbers. The bigger surprise was the price. A GT-R cost around $70,000. A Lamborghini Gallardo cost nearly $200,000. Yet on a racetrack, the Nissan could run with cars that seemed to belong to a completely different world. Purists argued that its all-wheel drive and advanced electronics were doing too much of the work. Customers didn't care. The GT-R was brutally fast in the dry, even faster in the wet, and astonishingly forgiving for ordinary drivers. It quickly earned the nickname Godzilla because it seemed to destroy everything placed in front of it. And perhaps the biggest sign of its success came from Lamborghini itself. In the years that followed, advanced all-wheel drive systems and launch control became increasingly important across its lineup. The GT-R hadn't beaten Lamborghini by copying its formula. It forced Lamborghini to rethink it. Mosler MT900. Lamborghini expected to compete against Ferrari, Porsche, and McLaren. It probably never expected one of its toughest challengers to come from a tiny company in Florida. Mosler Automotive wasn't founded by a famous racing driver or an established manufacturer. It was created by hedge fund manager Warren Mosler, who believed one thing above everything else: weight was the enemy of performance. Every unnecessary kilogram made a car slower, less agile, and harder to stop. So the MT900 was engineered with almost obsessive discipline. A carbon fiber and aluminum honeycomb chassis, a lightweight Chevrolet LSV8 that delivered huge power while remaining simple and reliable. In some versions, the entire car weighed less than 1,100 kilograms, hundreds of kilograms lighter than the Lamborghinis it was built to challenge. The results spoke for themselves. The racing version, the MT900R, won its class at the 24 Hours of Daytona in 2003, proving the concept worked against far larger manufacturers. Yet almost nobody noticed. Across more than a decade of production, Mosler built only around 85 cars before the company closed its doors in 2013. It had everything needed to challenge Europe's biggest supercars, except the one thing money couldn't easily buy: a name people already believed in: Jaguar XJ220. In 1988, Lamborghini believed the battle for the world's fastest supercar would continue against Ferrari and Porsche. Then Jaguar revealed a concept car that changed everything. The XJ220 wasn't even approved for production when it appeared at the British Motor Show. There was no factory ready to build it, no final engineering program, yet around 1,500 people immediately tried to place deposits, each willing to commit £50,000 for one of just 350 planned cars. The excitement was so intense that Ferrari reportedly moved the F40 display to draw attention away from the Jaguar stand. It didn't work. Then reality arrived. The original concept promised a naturally aspirated V12, all-wheel drive and four-wheel steering. The production car received a twin-turbocharged V6, driving only the rear wheels after Ford, Jaguar's new owner, concluded the original design would be too expensive to build. Customers were furious. Lawsuits followed. Some buyers refused to take delivery. Jaguar sued them in return. In the middle of that controversy, the XJ220 did something nobody could argue with. At the Nardo test track, it reached 217 miles per hour, becoming the fastest production car in the world. Faster than the Ferrari F40, faster than the Porsche 959, and faster than anything Lamborghini had ever built. It held the title until the McLaren F1 arrived in 1994. The world's fastest car had achieved exactly what Jaguar wanted, but not in the way anyone expected. It won the speed record, yet lost the trust of the very customers who had believed in it first. Saleen S7. By the turn of the new millennium, Ferrari and Lamborghini expected their biggest rivals to come from Europe. Instead, one of the most serious challenges arrived from California. Steve Saleen had spent nearly 20 years transforming Ford Mustangs into high-performance machines before deciding to build an American supercar from scratch. The result was the Saleen S7, unlike anything his company had ever produced before. It was built with one clear objective: to beat Ferrari and Lamborghini on their own ground. Power came from a naturally aspirated 7-liter V8, producing 550 horsepower, later upgraded to more than 750 horsepower with twin turbochargers. Its lightweight chassis was engineered by British motorsport specialists Ray Mallock Limited, while the body was shaped to generate enormous aerodynamic downforce at high speed. But the real proof came on the racetrack. The S7R competed against Ferrari, Chrysler, and Lister in international endurance racing, including Le Mans and the FIA GT Championship, where it won multiple races. A small American company had done what many believed was impossible. It wasn't just building a supercar capable of challenging Europe's best, it was beating them. Fewer than 100 Saleen 7s were ever produced before the company faced financial difficulties and restructuring. But for a brief moment, one of the biggest threats to Lamborghini didn't come from Italy, it came from a workshop in California. Lexus LFA. Lamborghini had always argued that buying a supercar wasn't about logic. It was about emotion. Then Toyota set out to prove it could build the ultimate driver's car. The project lasted 10 years, and halfway through development, Toyota made an extraordinary decision. After already building working aluminum prototypes, the engineers abandoned them and started again using carbon fiber. That meant creating an entirely new manufacturing process, because Toyota had never produced a carbon fiber car before. The obsession continued with the engine. Developed alongside Yamaha, the 4.8-liter V10 revved so quickly to its 9,000 RPM redline that a traditional analog tachometer couldn't keep up, forcing Lexus to install a digital display instead. Yamaha even tuned the intake and exhaust to create what many consider the greatest engine sound ever fitted to a production car. It was a masterpiece. It was also a financial disaster. The LFA cost $375,000, and Toyota lost money on every one of the 500 cars it built. On a racetrack, it could even be beaten by a Nissan GT-R that cost a fraction of the price. By almost every commercial measure, the project failed. Then something unexpected happened. Over time, the LFA became one of the most respected supercars ever created, with values climbing to more than double their original price. Lamborghini had always believed a supercar should make you feel something that numbers alone could never explain. The greatest proof that philosophy was right came from the company that builds the Corolla,